Time to fight fear with faith. Jody Paar is a survivor who is no longer staying silent. She and her guest will fuel you up so you too can fight fear. Uplifting and inspirational stories that will rock you to your core. We don't tiptoe around the truth. We steamroll it in a bold way. This is your life, and now is the time to start living it. Get ready for the Faith Over Fear podcast with Jody Paar. Now, welcome Jody Paar to inspire you.
Hey guys, welcome back to Faith Over Fear with Jody Paar. I am so excited that you guys are here. Wow. At the last podcast I had, number 30, which was a huge momentum number. Let's say that correctly. But anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. And to have Real Talk Kim, absolutely amazing. I love her so much. And if you guys don't follow her, please follow her. She is just amazing. I mean, she just will speak life into you. She has fire, in what she says. And she is just an amazing person all the way around. And she's been through hell and she came out on fire. And so if you didn't hear that podcast, make sure you go backwards and listen to Faith Over Fear podcast number 30, which is me and Real Talk Kim talking it up, guys, talking about how she went from, working at Bloomingdale's to literally having like 1 million followers. And more importantly, the people's lives that she has touched is just absolutely awesome. So make sure you go back and listen to that. Today, I just did not know who to follow up with Real Talk Kim. And so I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and do another solo one. I've actually had some requests to do a solo one. So I'm like, okay. So today I want to talk to you guys just about having faith and what that looks like. A lot of times, I think that we get into our circumstances and we cannot see the bigger picture. Like we feel like what we want is so far out of reach that we can't get to it. And that any way that we try to do it, it doesn't happen and it doesn't work. And I can say that over the years of my life, there's been so many times where I couldn't have done it on my own. There's no possible way. I mean, if you would have looked on paper or if you looked at the circumstances or if you had looked at, there's no way. And it was only by the grace of God that I got through those times. And so that's why I wanted to speak to you guys about faith and how with faith is not something that works really fast. It's not like you just say, okay, I have faith in this and everything's going to work out perfectly and I'm good. And then poof, it happens. It doesn't always happen like that. A lot of times when you have faith in something, you have to have faith in that through the toughest of circumstances to where it looks absolutely impossible and it looks like it's not going to happen. And yet you still have faith and you're like, I've seen you do miracles before. I know you can do this miracle again. Or I know there's miracles in the Bible. A lot of people think about the Bible and they think that God just stopped doing miracles back in the Bible days, and he doesn't do them now. And I'm here to tell you, he absolutely does. I'm here to tell you, if you have faith and believe, and faith as small as a mustard seed, he'll move mountains for you. He'll do things that you never even imagined and bless you beyond what you could ever dream of. I think of whenever I was in a place where I was homeless. I did not have a place I called home. I had been kicked out by my abusive boyfriend, and I was just kind of couch surfing, I guess is what they would call it. I had a lot of amazing friends that let me sleep on their couches, or I thank God that I wasn't actually on the street, but I was homeless. I did not have a place I could call my home. I did not have a place that was mine. And I remember during that time, I would always daydream, visualize, have faith that one day I would have the home of my dreams, that one day I would have that. And that would give me peace in a place of just turmoil and hurt and pain and all these other things. It would just give me peace. And a lot of times, guys, you just You just have to rest. You have to rest your mind. You have to trust God. You have to let go. How many of us won't let go of things? I mean, we don't let go. We hold on and then we try to figure it all out. And then we get frustrated that we can't figure it all out. And the whole time God's like, well, if you would just let go, I mean, I could fix that. I could do that. I think we put a lot of times put limits on God and what he can do. A lot of times we say, okay, this is what I want, but that's way too big for God to do. And he's the creator of the universe, guys. We're talking about the creator of the universe. We're talking about nothing. Nothing is impossible. Absolutely nothing. But you have to believe, you have to know that. And I want to give you excitement. I want to give you eagerness. Have you ever really wanted something and you went online and ordered it and it came right away because you expected it to come? Like you were waiting for it to show up on your doorstep. But how many times do we pray to God and ask God for things, but then we don't expect it? We're like, well, I prayed for it, but I don't really think he'll do it. Why? Because we, in our mindset, think it's too big for God, and nothing is too big for him. Nothing is. Some of you want the perfect spouse, the perfect partner in life. And you're like, well, I have a list of what I want, but that's a lie. I don't know if I'll get all those things. God knows your heart. He knows your heart's desires. He knows exactly who you want. Start believing that he can put that person in your life. I am blessed with the most amazing man ever. And I am so thankful every single day for him. And he is above and beyond what I ever dreamed or thought that I could ever have. Because, there were so many lies in my head about not being good enough and not being worthy and being used goods and all these different things, and they were all lies. So let me just speak life into you guys to know that you are precious in God's eyes, and he does know the desires of your heart, and he wants to give those desires of the heart to you, for you to know that. I think back to the time in my life. I've got so many stories that I could tell you, but I think back to times in my life where I should have been wiped out. I mean, like doing stupid stuff, like driving drunk and experimenting with things I shouldn't experiment with and doing things I shouldn't do. But it was like I had praying parents. I had praying grandparents. I had people who loved me, who were praying over me, even though I wasn't living the life I should have been living or doing what I should have been doing. And that is what I want you guys to know is wherever you're at today in your life, God can turn it around. People look at me and they're like, how do you look like you look now when you've been what you've been through? Like it don't match. And I'm like, it's only by the grace of God, because I surrendered all to him. And I said, you know what? I cannot do this on my own anymore. Like I give it to you. And so that's what I want to talk to you guys about is faith. And trusting in God even when it doesn't make sense, and trusting in God even when you're scared, and trusting in God even when you might have one door slam after another door after another door. A lot of times we feel like we're in a maze and we feel like, oh, we just keep hitting walls and hitting walls and hitting walls and hitting walls and not getting anywhere. But there's always an out to that maze. If you are looking over that maze and you see exactly where the entrance is, and then you see where the exit is. But when you're inside of it and you're bumping your head all around, then it's like you don't understand why you're going through those things. And in that time, you have to trust God. You have to know he has bigger plans for you. You have to speak that over your life. I am worthy. I am a child of God. I have purpose in this life. I am important in this life. I was with a guy that would tell me I was worthless every single day, told me I was pretty much a waste of space. And guys, let me tell you, that is not, if somebody tells you that, that is not the truth. It's not. And no matter what you've been through, please understand, God has a plan for you. If you would have told me back then that I would be sitting in the life I am now, I probably would have told you you're crazy. I would have said there's no way, because I lived in so much fear that didn't allow God to take over my life. And when I surrendered all and I forgave all, because it's very important, guys, that you forgive those who hurt you. If you do not forgive them, you're going to live with that mess. You're going to continue to haunt that. Those people are I'm going to spit it out in a minute. Those people are going to continue to haunt you. Those people that you don't forgive are going to continue to haunt you. You can even continue to be sick because you won't forgive somebody. It is true. When I had to forgive the man who lured me in to human trafficking and forgive the man who bought me, that was the most difficult thing for me to do, because I hated both of them very much, and I had a lot of anger, and I had a lot of hate being the key word. And I had to say, you know what? I don't want to carry anymore. I gave it all to God. I was like, I can't take it anymore. I don't want to anymore. And when I did, there was so much freedom that came with that. There was so much freedom that came by allowing to say, I no longer want to carry this. And so many chains broke off, including chains of fear, including chains of doubt, including chains of not feeling worthy or good enough. You know, it's important that we know that when we give it all to God, He takes it and it's under the blood, and you no longer have to carry it. Why do we carry our own sins whenever Jesus is like, that's why I died for you? Why are you carrying your own sins? But we all do it. We all do it. We all, feel guilty of things that we've done in the past, and it keeps coming up in our mindset, and you don't have to carry that guilt anymore. And I want you guys to know that. I want you to focus and really start to visualize what you want in life. Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be with? And we're little kids, and even the Bible talks about this. It talks about have faith of like a little child. And when we're little kids, it's so easy for us to just imagine this, imagine that. I was looking at my neighbor's kids that were playing outside, not a care in the world, not just innocence, just so much innocence and so much happiness. And it says we should have faith like that. We should have faith like a little child, that I'm not even going to worry about tomorrow. I know God's got it. He's got it in the palm of His hand. If He takes care of the birds of the air, He's going to take care of me. I hear the birds chirping outside, and I'm like, that's just a reminder. That's a reminder. If He takes care of the birds of the air, He'll take care of us. Have you ever really prayed for something and it came true? I know I have. I know that He hasn't failed me not one time. Even in my bad years, I guess you could say, He never failed me, not one time. And so, guys, I want you to know that He will not fail you neither. Either. I want you to know how much you are loved. It says, for God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son. Can you imagine giving up your child because you love the world that much, and knowing that your child was going to go through horrific torture, that was His purpose? And can you imagine knowing that all you have to do is just believe and receive Him? And then you don't have to carry those sins anymore, and then people can't hold things over your head, and you can't continue to beat yourself up. The main person, I do a lot of coaching, and the main person that people don't want to forgive is themselves, because they've beaten themselves down so much, and they just are so broken at what they've done in guilt. We know where that comes from. But to know that you don't have to carry that you don't have to carry that guilt, that you don't have to carry those sins, that you don't have to carry that, and that God takes that from you. That is love. For God so loved. That is love, guys. One thing I try to do in every area of my life is just show love. If you're going to have faith, you got to have love too. You got to not be mean to everybody that comes your way. I get it. We go through hard things. And again, once you forgive, you'll get rid of that. But it's important that you know that love conquers all. Love is just, I think back to my life and how I went through so many different trials and how there was always angels around me, even whenever I didn't know they were they were like a human, of course. But I believe that they were angels because I never went hungry. I always had shelter. I always had someone around. Like, that's an angel to me. Someone that shows love and that is there for you, and their heart is there for you, and they they want better for you. They want you to do better. And I think back of all the people that were there for me and that stood beside me, and how I I shouldn't even be here, but because of the love of those people I am. Let people love you. I went a long time not allowing people to love me. I did not feel worthy of love. And my husband was the one guy that was like, you don't have to do all this other stuff. Like, I love you for you. But I wouldn't allow him to truly love me because I was holding on to so much hate and anger. And that's why I had to forgive those who had hurt me, because I wanted to be able to love him the same way that he loved me and that he loves me. And who knew I was going to turn out to be who I am today? Never, guys, in a bazillion, jillion, trillion years would I have imagined that. But God can turn around any situation. So I want you to build faith inside of you. I want you to get into scripture and look at these different stories about faith in the Bible. Look at Hebrews 11 and all of these stories about faith. By faith you are healed. By faith, because you believed, you are healed. What do you want to have faith for today, guys? What is it that is just a dark spot in your life that you were looking for the light? One thing that is amazing is you cannot have both light and dark in a room. It's impossible. So if that room is pitch dark and somebody flips on the light, that room lightens up. And I love the saying that is, I used to be afraid of the dark until I realized I was the light. Wow. Is that not so good? What is it in your life that you need to have faith for? And when you have faith, guys, I mean, no matter what happens, hold on to that faith. Hold on to, I believe that God can do the impossible. And I know that people around me don't believe it. And I know that they think I'm crazy. And I don't care, because I trust God in this situation. He loves me. He said, ask and you shall receive. Faith, rise up inside of me. Pray that prayer. Faith, rise up inside of me. Like, when I want to, I've talked about this before, and you want to make sure you hold every single thought captive, because either your thoughts are thoughts of faith or they are thoughts of fear. And we all have, I don't know, something like 1 million thoughts a day. I don't even know. It was like a crazy number of thoughts that we all have a day. And you can either have thoughts of faith or thoughts of fear. And here's the thing, whatever you focus on grows. So if you have thoughts of fear, and then you have another thought of fear, and then you have another, before you know it, you're going to be completely depressed, upset, terrified, so many different emotions. But if you have a thought of faith, and then that thought of faith goes into another thought of faith, and then that thought of faith goes into another thought of faith, then it changes. And there's excitement that gets inside of you, and there's hope that gets inside of you. Hope is so important, guys. You want to have hope. Nothing's hopeless. No situation in this world is hopeless. So let faith rise up inside of you. Pray for stronger faith. Pray for faith like the people of the Bible had. Pray for that kind of faith. Faith that moves mountains. Pray for your faith to take the place of your fears. Pray that God will give you clarity, vision, goals, all the above. Because you are so precious and you're his child and he loves you. And he wants to do that for you. He wants to give that to you. But it's so important that we have faith, guys. It's so important that we believe that we deserve that. I don't know what you're having faith for today. I don't know if it's a relationship, if it's an illness, if it's a home. I don't know what it is, but you know, and deep down in your heart, you know what it is. Cry out to Jesus. Just say, Heavenly Father, take it from me and replace all of these emotions with faith, and let me stand strong in believing that you want the best for me. Thank you that you died for me. Thank you that I don't have to carry the sins and guilt and the list long of things I've done. Thank you that you love me so much, that you died for me. Your life will change in a way I can't even express to you. And like I said, if you need proof, I don't have a before picture. You guys wouldn't have even believed it if I did have a before picture, because I didn't look like me. I was very, very dark, very angry. Even my expressions on my face, I was very broken. But to see who I am today, to see the light that shines through me because of what God's done in my life, I want to express he can do the same for you. Stop putting limits on God and thinking that he can't do what you need done. He's just sitting back waiting. He's just waiting for you to say, take it. Because so much freedom comes with that. So guys, that is my podcast for today. I hope it blessed you. I hope it excites you. I hope it fuels something on the inside that makes you go, you know what? I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of not feeling good enough. I'm tired of allowing my past to keep popping up in my future. Like, I'm tired of it all. And I'm just going to give it all to Jesus. I'm just going to do what it says. John 3:16. I'm going to do that. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. I want everlasting life. You don't got to worry about anything after that. Once you're a child of God, I'm not saying you're not going to have trials, but I'm saying it's different because you don't have to go through those alone. You know he's right beside you, and you know that you have faith, and you know it's all going to work out. And I'm super excited to hear some stories about your trials turning into triumphs. Your testimonies of how the test turned into a testimony, the mess turned into a message. Like, I'm super excited to hear these stories, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope this podcast blessed you. I hope you share it. And we will have a new guest next week. So be blessed. Bye.